Welcome, everybody. This is the moment you've been waiting for. It is Team Wales versus Team Cerberus coming to you live from VCS English. I am Abanogi, and this is Quincy. I will get it eventually. I will point
You
her
got
out
it.
eventually. I went that way first.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
it's a 50% chance, just like predictions for Series 1, either way of that. I won that coin toss either way. Maybe I will win the other one too, as we have a split desk once again. Yeah, you always tell me to shut up before I even said anything. Either way, Team Wales fan and Team Cerberus fan casting this series for you. And I'm glad to have this matchup in general. I mean, it's just a top match nonetheless. No matter who wins, we will enjoy this series altogether. I would assume so. And let's wait and see what these two teams bring to the table, like especially for the side of Cerberus. I'm not quite sure if they are quite sure which jungler to field.
We were seeing Drakthar coming in for Cerberus in the start of the last split. They've done with their Korean what would we even call that, experiment? I suppose that's the word. Poss is gone, Leash is gone. They've settled. They've got Pun. They've got Drakthar. They are fully committed. Well, they're not fully committed to Drakthar yet. They have Ego coming back. He came back last series rather, and he put on an absolute clinic against MBE, which, admittedly, it's MBE. It's not the best team in the league by any stretch of the mean. But let's run through the stats, shall we? 13 CS up at 15. 2,000 gold up at 15. 1,500 experience up at 15. Pretty good. 10.3 KDA. He played Lee Sin and Viego. So he's playing the champions he likes. And that's kind of the story with Cerberus, I think. They play the champions they like. They're not meta slaves. They played Zero Lucian Nami. They played one game of Zeri. Ron is just slamming Nautilus because he loves that boy. And
Artemis plays Varus, which is meta, but he doesn't play poke Varus. He still plays the normal DPS Varus builds because he's just a Giga Chat, right? I mean, he just knows he's better than the AD Savvy, and he can just, if he just gets a standard conventional item build going, he can just win those fights on his own if he just goes that route. Either way of that, they also kind of outdrafted themselves, I would say, with some of those drafts where they were like going Varus time Kench and then just ultimately still not having enough protection for the side of Artemis, so it might just eventually bite their back. And gotta say, despite Ego's stellar performance, it was Team Box. I mean, Team Wales is definitely a different caliber, I gotta say. Maybe Drakthar also would have looked as stellar against Box as Ego just now did. But we remain to be seen what really happens in this series and who's really playing with that side. For the side of Team Wales, not so much, right? Team Wales has a very set in stone 5-man roster, and there's no doubt that there won't be any changes.
Yeah, we do have, in theory, there is Hagi on the bench for Vit, who is a complete rookie, and we know nothing about him. So that's always on the off chance. But I don't think they need to. Vit has been performing fairly well. If you had to point to a weakest member, obviously it would be him. But he's been holding up. He's been holding up fine in lane, which has been his traditional weakness, and he's performing well in the team fights. And if he's landed on these long-range carries like the Varus, like the Caitlyn, he's performed extremely well. We can see they're 3-1 and 2-1 respectively, Cerberus and Wales. But both those losses are to GAM, so can't really complain. So we see a little bit of the schedule as well.
Yeah, can't really say anything against losing to GAM. I mean, everyone lost to GAM who played GAM, so that's like maybe the one series you kind of need to ignore in the context we're given. And you addressed Vit, and I want to address him as well, because usually I'm like the devil's advocate for Vit, as a broadcast tends to really, and I don't want to say hate Vit, but they rate him very, very lowly. Maybe the worst ADC in the league, but he is paired with a stellar support, and this series he faces Artemis, who might just be, if he is on form, the strongest AD carry in the league, and this might just be his series to show that he is carryable, or at least good enough to hold his own against Artemis, so his topside can take over and let them the win against Cerberus, because he needs to be. If he can't stabilize against Artemis, then this series is doomed from the start.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a little bit of a lot of my problems with it comes from disappointment. I was promised Uji, and then that fell through somehow. But it doesn't matter. Let's leave that aside, because the jungle, I think, is where it's gonna happen. Ego is back. He looked great. Killer Queen has looked pretty damn good as well, especially on this Wukong, on this Maokai. He's controlled the Rift. He's controlled a lot of team fights, and he's really only struggled. He struggled a little bit on the. I mean, the Lee Sin he didn't win on, but he also looked great in that game against Scam. They just lost in a team fight at the end. They're so exciting. Yeah. They're just exciting. Junglers.
He got counterpicked by Levi in the Lee Sin versus Wukong matchup, and Levi went 0-7 on the Wukong. And you just need to play decently if you make Levi go 0-7. I mean, either individually or as a team. Regardless of that, it was a very fine game played by the side of Team Wales, despite the loss. You just now addressed it. One team fight, and Garm just took over from there, and that was just what ultimately netted Garm that win. I think overall, Garm was never as close to losing as that series in the split so far. So Team Wales definitely have that one going for them, despite Cerberus also making a decent performance, but not as good as Wales. But here we see the direct matchup and some different bans.
It's Drakthar! That's kind of disappointing because I built up Ego so much.
I said I wasn't too sure who's playing jungle, so Drakthar is back, and as much as I fell in love with the Ego Cerberus team that won the Mickey Mouse Winter Split back then, I also like to see Drakthar. He has looked very, very fine in the games he played, and he, from the hearsay we heard and saw, of course, he seems to be less of an Ego player as Ego himself, but regardless of that, nameplates being off, they still lock in Viego first for Drakthar, which is a very bold call in my opinion.
Oh, Viego, okay, so 13.4, the changes to Viego came in, which makes him better with crit. Will we see this crit Viego? Okay, but meanwhile, they're going to answer with a lock-in of the Jax. Take away from Pun, it's been a great pick for him. This is what he was known for before he joined the VCS. It's looked great for Nagir as well, who has been absolutely a menace in the top lane. And Maokai locked in as well. It's nerfed. The AP variant isn't as good, but Tank Maokai is still strong. It still has all that objective control. But Xayah Rakan will be the answer as well.
What a banger. I mean, I've just now casted the University League finals on this current patch on Saturday, and Xayah was the detrimental AD carry pick. I mean, both AD carries were vocal about the fact that Xayah is the best ADC on the patch, and now Artemis of all AD carries got Xayah paired up with a Rakan right away on the side of Cerberus. It's definitely one hell of a statement in the draft so far. And for the side of Wales, they picked the Jax very early. Now, what I want to see from them is, of course, banning away the key counter picks. I mean, maybe don't ban away the Gangplank, as Pan would likely not play it himself, but at least the Gragas should be taken away, in my opinion, to really have a good setup for Nagir to really get strong on this Jax pick.
Okay. Now, what do we see for Pan? He has played a little bit of Olaf. He has played that for sure, and that is a matchup into the Jax that he likes, so I would expect to see that on the ban list, unless Nagir feels like he can take it to Pun in the 1v1. But we've seen Pun v9 performances coming out of Olaf, so I'd like to see it banned, and we have to see where the bot lane falls for the side
also,
of Wales.
What bot lane general they pick, because they are very AD heavy now. I mean, Maokai after the nerfs would maybe even go for a more tanky build up half, so he can't just easily go Demonic Embrace and the Unwit and what the hell he ever likes in those situations. So the AP damage kind of lacking, and that's also why Ziggs and Vega are banned away by the side of Cerberus. So what's really left to the table for Vit? Ezreal could be picked, Zeri could be picked, but I mean, I could see Draven, they just hover ADCs, full physical damage ADCs, and I don't like them.
Don't do Lucian Nami, that'd be such a disappointment. Jhin is even worse in my opinion. I was hoping for some kind of Cho'Gath Senna, that's also an option, but they're gonna get Lucian Nami, which is, it's bad! I don't like it!
Malphite angle, by the way. Very AD heavy composition for the side of Team Wales, also the Jax being countable. But yeah, you could pick Malphite, you could pick Gragas, you could pick Gangplank or Olaf if you wanted to just play aggressively in that situation. But they just opted to the Cassandra, a bit more of a meta situation in that regard. Could also still hold his own in lane for the first few levels at least. And then now it's Annie also on this side. Nami, an obvious last pick, of course, they won't pick it away. Just running out the competition. They pick in order, by the way, on the side of Team Wales, which is something that's, of course, very VCS-esque, as they sometimes failed to trade champions in the past. But either way than that, I think Cerberus kind of went with a highway robbery of this draft.
They slam dunked. Yeah. You pick Lucianami. Guess what's really good into Lucianami? Dropping a Tibbers in front of the
Engage.
Calling and denying all his damage. Because there's a big old bear to soak it all up, and then there's a Kasati as well who can also do that. So, yeah, I'm all in on the Cerberus camp this time. They've slapped the draft is an absolute runaway. So that means they'll lose, of course.
Yeah,
That's how
exactly.
it
Like as a
works.
fan, I'm very worried because they slam dunked this draft, and a better draft always loses. And Cerberus
Yeah.
just now, Zaya can't solution Nami. The Annie potentially just to blow up the Nami in the later team fights, and also Cassandra to Jax. Not like the best matchup, but I think, but still fine. I mean, they had all the options on the table aside from the Cyan that was banned away. I think actually the Cassandra is better than the Cyan itself, but gotta disagree with Team Wales' approach to the draft in general over there. And Viego now for Draktar. The buff Viego, at least the offensive Viegos are buffed. So let's wait and see if it will be like the old Viego with like the Divine Sun or Sterox, or it will be like the new Viego item build that just goes heavily into damage with maybe even a Kraken Slayer or a Shield Bow, and then running out with his own Blade, of course the Blade is the Wound King, to really be this second DPS threat a team may need or may not need.
Yeah, I'm just so upset. Caitlyn was open. Varus. No, I think Varus was banned, but there were so many better options than Lucianami. It's
Anything with a bit
Like-
of IP, like Ezreal maybe?
as real.
Zeri,
I
Lulu.
wouldn't be surprised if there was a demonic embrace coming out from Maokai at least. Full AP Maokai is dead. If you play that, you are griefing. But oh god, no, that's a face rush on Maokai. That's not a good sign.
Wait, where's 1OP? 1OP snuck behind Vid.
Ron OP has
This looks very dangerous for Vid.
snuck
there's a Volcan just
behind
coming from
the
behind.
W Start, yeah. He's waiting for that.
The follow-up
cooldown.
not really
Oh,
there.
they're just a bit too far behind, so it's just going to be a little bit of damage onto Vit, but that shouldn't amount to anything really. Level 1's down onto Glory. Lots of potential abilities, but Cerberus just weren't actually in a position to follow up on it, and so nothing will really happen, and just a bit of gold. Actually, a bit
Bit
of nothing,
underwhelming.
because, yeah,
Yeah. I was so excited about 1OP just finding that sneak in, and then ultimately it was just him using the good entrance at his team, kind of just watching him do like, yeah, you go off king. Either way, just a bit of goal with the support item passives. Not
go
that
off
much
king,
damage
wait.
done.
We love,
I mean,
we love
Glory-
what you're doing. Okay,
Yeah,
but he's in a
Gl-
bad position though. But they go
It
straight
is.
onto Vit Cleanse, Flash, and they're just all in level
He's dead.
1! He's just dead!
Yeah, worst ADC versus best ADC, the strong feast on the week, all Sanders blow by instead of servers, and they just straight up kill him level 1. Poor Vit, man.
Yeah, okay. That B just separated himself from the AD carry, could not help. Yeah, Lucian's not good. This is gonna be really rough for this lane now. They really needed that to get ahead. They really wanted that to get ahead to the mid game, and yeah, okay, B's just not
Yeah.
to participate.
Yeah, not respected the good entrance on Rakan over there. And gotta say, like, I like to play Devil's Advocate for many things, and Lucianami in general is one of them, especially with now the focus being shifted towards more of a scaling bot lane, where it really spikes on Gale Force plus Imperial Mandate, and going with the first strike plus Airy Road instead of like Electrocute Nami, which you could do beforehand. So them going even to the mid game would have been fine in my opinion. But now they just fall behind against Zaya Rakan, who are far from weak at that stage of the game. And it's really not a good start for Bit. Also, on their own, they also blew 3 of those 4 summoner spells they have. So it might just be an option for the side of Draktar to just re-gank this lane or gang it in the first place and pull Artemis even further ahead.
I also want to point out something that I think just caught them unawares, caught Vit unawares especially. The W start from Artemis picking up that extra attack speed that is shared across with Rakan is so much damage. You don't normally expect it. You normally expect the Q start at level 1 to just sort of farm a little bit safely, get a bit more wave push. It just comes
Gotta
out and
be
just
honest,
wrecks them.
I'm just surprised that the W start of the Deadly Plumage is just enough to really just net them the kill, because you don't have any CC like the Blade Caller would do. You can't really start. You don't have the extra range that you have on the Q, and just the movement speed plus attack speed combination was enough to really get the kill there, and that was very surprising to me.
It's
Either
it's a
way,
lot.
like yeah, yeah.
Oh, this wave is in such a bad spot for Nagia. Dracthar's gonna come
Oh
in.
yes.
Shouldn't get this, I wouldn't think. Misses the stun, and that, yeah, can't amount to anything, but wave is not in a great spot for Nagia, and Pun can
It's
hold this
horrible.
freeze. They need to send Killer Queen up there ASAP to help them
Yeah,
out.
absolutely. And Jax should be the one that eventually pulls ahead into this lane. As I said before, the first few levels are kind of good for Cassandra, as he tends to just bully those stat check champions in the first few levels, where he can just use both his base damage and the CC. It's just naturally what happens in any tank versus fighter matchup. And Cassandra, at least pre-6, can be considered an actual tank, is what I would call it. Then he just decides to be a fighter for some minutes or for some seconds if he just presses his R button. Either way of that, we see Yado in the mid lane, farming evenly against the Jace. And
Yado crushing this
I'm
matchup.
yeah, and he usually very weak at the first few levels, especially in the mid lane, and so far Yado far from having problems here.
Yeah, he's crushing the matchup. He's got a small CS lead. He's winning out on the trades easily and profiting off this first strike rune as well. So he's already gotten himself a very quick catalyst, and he's just absolutely having the best time. And this constant pressure is giving Dracthar all the space he needs as he passes through the mid lane. And while I have a moment, there is a benefit I see to seeing Dracthar in this matchup, and that is Dracthar and Glory were on the same team for so long. They played through Percent, they played through Burst the Sky, and now
Ooh.
it's
it's
dead again.
It's that bit. Yeah,
Okay.
Observer doesn't even want to show it really. I mean, he just shows the last hit, so as few as possible from that interaction, as Adam is still feasting on his prey. And should just now also go for some platings, and even if not, I mean, this whole wave of experience just now goes to B, and you really want that experience to be shared with Vid together, and Vid doesn't really find any second to breathe really in this lane, and with Cassandra doing well against Jackson in the first few levels, with Yado performing well against Glory, this is potentially 3 winning lanes for the side of Cerberus off the bat, and Dracthar can just do what he wants. He doesn't start off the Drake actually, but here we see again how it played out. Vid being a bit too far forward in the 1v2, B not being around, and can't really push up.
Damage!
Yeah.
Just
Adam has just crushed him.
Out. But yeah, the level up on the early W is just doing so much damage, and even though they don't get the root on the blade call up, oh my god, just Vid cannot stand up. He doesn't have the range to outpace to out-trade Artemis and poke him out. He can't step up at all. They're gonna be lucky enough to grab this first dragon, but it's
That's
just
illegal.
a disaster in the bot lane.
But I want to applaud Team Voice that they just abused the VCS timings from Cerberus. With all lanes looting, they just now sneaked away this Drake, and are now in a rush, of course. B, of course, using his flash, he will die. Oh, will he? He won't.
Gets out. A bit of split target. Dracthar not fully committing to the play. But they get the flash from B. They don't get... The dragon is taken, but... Oh, God, it's going to take so long for the solution to get anyway. They need the Imperial Mandate and the Gale Force completed to actually start doing anything. I do not have high hopes for this Wales roster with how far behind this bot lane is falling. They need Nagia and Glory to get something going. But that's just not happening.
Question to me is, as soon as they finish the Gale Force plus Imperial Mandate spike, how many items will Artemis have? Will it just be like Gale Force plus Zerkers, or will it just be Gale Force Zerkers and then a full Zeal item, or just a full Infinity Edge at this point? It could just be either of those, as we see Invade coming through for the side of Cerberus. I mean, they have the priority, they can do a lot.
That was a bit too much from Dracthar. They bring Killer Queen in and the bot lane is there to respond. Will the roots catch up? Yes, they will, so that's gonna be 2. Just need to finish off. There we go. Glory shoots down Ron OP. Luckily, Artemis gets out alive, but that is 2 desperate kills that Team Wales needed. And are they gonna set up a redive? Can they set it up?
And it's kind
Can
of...
they get the wave in?
And it's hand-delivered by the side of Cerberus. I mean, Dracthar really mechanically misplaying it with just shifting onto his Heartbreaker defensively. And now Artemis might just get over, as you said. The wave is still too thick.
Yeah, there it is. He has good ultimate to get away from the Twisted Advance, which will keep him alive. Not quite enough CC.
Artemis still, of course, being clutch with his spell usage, but this one wasn't really hard to time for him. He just needed to press his R at the right moment. As he sees the Maokai being underground and being untargetable, he should be untargetable as well, using the Feather Storm correctly so, as this will prevent the dive, at least for now. But I mean, it's 3v1 still. 1 OP really cut off. They can just turn to 1 maybe even.
Yeah, Ron's a little bit hard to catch, but they're just trying to push in and get the plate. Try and beat down Cerberus a little bit harder. They're gonna trade that for the Rift Herald into the pockets of Drakthar, and it's given Pun a lot of freedom on this top side to play behind the tower. Because he knows his jungler is up there, and Pun and Nagia rather has to play scared. Pun's
Absolutely,
just having the time of his life.
Pun is doing what Joshin did last game, and we know how that went out, right? I mean, I don't like this. I think at this point, you're just stronger as the Cassandra against the Jax, and you kind of let Jax scale next to you here, and give him a bit more room to breathe. However, here, this might just be an angle where Pun can fight him.
Okay.
If it's 1v1, Pun should win this, I think. But he absolutely doesn't deal any damage to him.
They're trying to get the blast code, but then he just keeps clicking the gear. He will get it, and he will get out.
Jace
for free. Okay, Glory, can you land it?
I think if Glory has vision, he can just snipe and kill him right there. Either way, or just cut him off, so he just has to run to the enemy team and just die to Nagia or Killer Queen. So Pun kind of having a lucky one right there, getting out scot-free. As in general though, Cerberus, they smashed the draft, they smashed the early game, the bot lane especially more than anything else. Considering they had that, I'm kind of disappointed with them, as they just now also drop platings in the top lane, drop some CS, some wave there. Artemis had to get zoned off the wave earlier, as there was a dive threatened by Killer Queen. And Wade's also sneaking away this one dragon despite having 3 losing lanes. I'm not too impressed by what Cerberus did the last few minutes here.
Yeah, definite overstep in the jungle, and Pun just losing out in this 1v1, not quite able to... Not really having that damage, hasn't gone for the to rush the Sunfire, hasn't gone for that Iceborne Gauntlet that is the big trading item for the Cassante, and just sort of, I think, just missed out on and just played that fight a little bit rough. But it's meant that Team Wales are still feeling relatively comfortable. They're still down 1,000 gold, and most of that is probably all on Artemis. But that's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. They can definitely make things happen, and good culling to clean out the way means that this is just a plate gank. They can't actually get any much more out of it.
That should be at least 2 platings though, because this one plate is already down more than half of his HP. Of course, Herald Charge no longer guaranteeing 2 plates, but in this situation, it definitely does guarantee 2 plates. Still, Artemis misclick.
Good bubble! They don't chain the CC perfectly, but that is ultimate forced by B.
A little bit of a heart attack for Cerberus fan there, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world, right? Featherstorm trade for Tidal Wave. For that huge of a misclick, I think that's kind of fine. 1 OP, however, is getting approached.
Okay, bit of a
But Killer Queen is so deep, he's dead.
Okay, that's just... Okay, Drakthar gonna force the flash out of B, but... Yeah, okay, just split decision. Killer Queen went so hard for this bot lane, but the bot lane of Wales themselves turned back to help Glory. And with that jungler down, that's a free dragon. It's only traded 1-for-1, but I think you prefer that one Hex Tech to that one Cloud.
You absolutely do. Yeah, gotta say, I mean, of course, the Drake falling kind of unnecessary either way. Killer Queen also donating that kill. Very, very rough on their end. As he didn't really have to follow up with his team, he just went very, very deeper to the bot lane. Yeah, Artemis and 1 OP just said thank you, right? I mean, very much funneling gold into the pocket. I mean, what's he really trying to do here? Chasing that deep onto a Khan? He's not even that squishy. And I think
once his team
just now got sold.
Turned around as well.
Yeah, actually, he didn't use Twisted Events onto a Khan to really follow up and engage. He just does it because he just wanted to buy a few more seconds because he was just left alone by his team. Poor guy.
Stood in bush. Yeah,
I gotta say though, his team had to leave him alone because he had no business there. He shouldn't have stepped up that far.
Yeah,
in the first place.
His team left him alone because Glory was also being collapsed on the other side, and they tried to turn to that. It's just miscommunication coming out of Wales. And this time, they've made the rotation through. They are trying to get away from Artemis. And you can see Gale Force is complete, but that's a whole Caulfield's Warhammer towards those quick blades for the side of Artemis. He is Love and Life 3-0. Gonna get first
Just got first
as
quick.
well. And now
Yeah, exactly.
Now Nagia rather could be trouble in the jungle. Yeah, he's just dead.
That's a dead Nagia. Yeah,
He was on a
Jax
ward.
can't really do much there. And another kill for Artemis, right? The Xayah just getting more fed, and she's such a strong champion in the mid game in general. Just now, despite having to play against the Gale Force Imperial Mandate Power Spike, I mean, you just said it, just one Caulfield's Warhammer ahead. Make the Caulfield's Warhammer and a pickaxe. That's like 2k gold down in combat stats. Won't be too nice to play against, I gotta say. And might just be the one crux that teammates really have there. They are overall an equal or better team than Cerberus, but I mean, they have fit against Artemis. It's very hard to play against it here. You just see how quickly you can really punish this Jax with Xayah or Khan at this point of the game. And
we saw the vision toggle as well.
Yeah.
They had no idea it was coming, but he was sitting on a ward and very little he can do. And now they can just bully up the mid lane and there's no hope for Team Wales. That's 2 big towers taken down for the side of Cerberus, and they shall have full control over the map now. Especially this
be on the
bot side.
Nami.
Yeah, what
Be on the
can
Nami,
Team
no
Wales
summoner
do?
spells. Yeah, nothing they can't really do. I mean, B has to be constantly scared that he gets collapsed on by literally anything, right? He can easily get dove as a Nami. He's squishy, immobile, doesn't have any summoner spell, can easily be picked off. And of course, Cerberus knows this one. They will start off this second Rift Herald, or will just now have a little bit of a look and see what the reaction from Team Wales will be, because, I mean, if they get a fight instead of the Herald itself, they are probably even more happy with that, as right now they are just ballooning their gold lead. Almost 4,000 golds is what they are ahead, and I mean, especially with this ADC difference, it will be very easy to play for them, as just now we also saw, I think it was the experience tab, showing that Yado is ahead of everyone right now, and we also addressed this one, but he got a very comfortable start, winning lane against the Jace a little bit, Jason getting funneled 2 takedowns, but still, he got to start off his Sword of Ages soon enough. It's already starting to stack this one, and he will be one hell of a presence in these team fights. If he just gets a good Timbers onto either B or Vid, it might just win them the game off of there.
Okay, they're not going to get in there in time, so that's a free Rift Herald, and that can do so much damage now for Cerberus. They're in full control. Vit is not going to continue to do very little damage as he builds towards this rapid fire cannon. It gives you that range to do Lucian things, but it makes you just won't have the real damage to make that pick, in my opinion. So this is just going bad from worst. And
Yeah, gotta say about this Rift Herald, it looked a bit flippy, but Rift Herald is actually less flippy than the Baron itself, right? Because if you control the Rift Herald area and you know where the eye is really going, the auto attack perk on the eye is stronger than Smite itself. So as long as you control the area around it, Killer Queen, even with Smite, has very low chance to even steal it one away. So Cerberus playing that one out cleanly, despite it looking a bit fishy that Killer Queen could approach so closely. And with that, Cerberus, very dominant mid-game so far from them. Next wave spawning in 40 seconds, and this should be theirs. Yado, however, he should be very careful, as his Tibbers gets focused down. If he steps too far forward, he just gets dove.
Tibber's just such a good zoning tool, just means they can't crash that wave properly into the tower. They can't set up anything with Killer Queen.
Oh,
Yado, if he oversteps, he doesn't have Tibbers, he doesn't have the stun available just yet, so the tower will be taken down, but in the mid lane, Artemis is doing much the same with a Rift Herald.
They just get cracked mid lane tier 2 of that. Yano bought so much time, but of course he loses a turret at the end of the day, but to such a great effect, right? Tier 2 turret falling down, this should be on the way back, the second Drake for Cerberus. It's just worth. I mean, this top lane other turret was falling at some point anyway, and Yano's still buying so much time. Very useful for them. And also, we can address the item build for Dragstar right now. He went neither the Divine Thunder or Sterox build nor the crit build. He went Black Cleaver first, just due to the fact that Black Cleaver right now is just such a stat efficient, gold efficient item.
Yeah, just to see where he rounds it out. I would trend to thinking maybe with that we will see the Divine Sunderer as the follow-up, but
yes,
hey, there's so much options. For all he has now is 2 long swords, which can be just about anything you want it to be. Team Wales,
I want to see...
they're just struggling. They need to find something. Where do they attack? Because Cerberus have just covered their ankles extremely well.
They do, and there's not really any target you can easily focus down, but the Rakan for support is at least a little bit of tanky. This Artemis is Artemis. I mean, he's just playing out of his mind as per usual. Has all of his summoner spells up, has Gale Force, has the Feather Storm. You can't just catch him in one go. And even with what damage do you even kill him? I mean, Vit on his own right. I mean, he's on the Gale Force Imperial Metal Power Spike, but got Rapid Fire Cannon as a second item. So his overall damage outpoint is not that much to write home about, as he just goes for the utility longer range auto attack to really get any damage going on, but this alone won't carry you the team fight. Maybe even Yano is the one who can easily attack the easiest, as he with Flash Up and Tibbers, even with that one, you likely use it offensively, you can at least find an angle to really burn down the squishy Annie. But regardless of that, Team of Wales have very small windows of opportunity to really get anything of a comeback really going on, and Cerberus can just slowly walk it in, get one turret after another, get one Drake after another, and potentially fight the Dragon Soul in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, Drakthar has just been everywhere he needs to be, and Killer Queen has kind of been nowhere. He sort of made one play to punish a Drakthar overstep. Now Nagia, he will spot everyone on that vision plant, but he can't step up. He can't step up. They've stacked everyone into this top side to try and take down these towers, and the wave clear is still enough on Pun that he's able to just clearing out this mid wave before they can actually do anything to punish. And Glory's too slow. This is just kind of free towers in the middle.
It is.
And they're just...
And their wave clear tools are Glory and Bit, and they are just somewhere else.
Can they punish? No, they cannot. It's
Killer Queen is in the no man's land.
Okay. Ron gets caught out a little bit, so does Yado. This should be one kill. Stopwatch comes through. Now Killer Queen's in trouble, but Yado gets away with just a little bit. Pun is now deep into it, and Artemis just gets to walk forward and do so much damage. That was it was perfect wraparound, but they don't have any damage. They're just so far behind. They can't kill anyone. They killed Yado, but Yado's a tanky boy with that rod.
Yeah, one of ages and the Molten Shield as well. The setup was actually kind of bad by Cerberus, but they still won it because they were just so far ahead already. Now it's not the Baron, but Killer Queen's alive.
There's poke from Glory. They can maybe dissuade the Baron. They aren't going to get the kill.
Artemis.
Gabba? Okay, Artemis is too fed. This is frankly unfair.
Yeah, it's really unfair because I think Team Wales macro wasn't even that bad in that situation itself. I mean, they have to do something against the Baron. They all chase into the Zarya and then just get run down by Artemis Bladecaller. But here we see the setup from the other side. As Killer Queen, now I called him being in no man's land, but he actually gets onto 1 OP. And then Yado's kind of out of position as Team Wales actually managed to regroup. So I would say that this was far from ideal from Cerberus even. And still, like, Artemis finds the backline access on the AD carry, and with that, even like this suboptimal approach from Cerberus, they still win it, and that's the scary thing, right? They can basically do what they want. Even if they misplay, they still win those situations.
Yeah, and this shouldn't really have gone as bad as it did. Killer Queen, Nagia, and Glory. This should be enough to definitely at least dissuade it, but Artemis just, look at that Blade Caller. He just instantly, he just does so much damage. He just does.
Yeah.
That's just, it's not fair.
And they didn't even chase that far into him. It's Navori, Quickblade, Scale for Zarya. What can you do?
Can we just skip to 13.5 where this champion isn't just the most disgusting thing? Where the next thing for Zarya? Because god damn, alright, like, obviously this is a more ahead than usual Zarya because Artemis just absolutely rolled the bot lane from level 1, but they have just played it like you would, I guess, Caitlyn. You just go from tower to tower, take the gold, and they commit 2 alternates and they clear a wave. Congratulations. The best they can hope for is Glory split push.
It's a bit rough because Artemis is actually playing Stella, of course, as we are used for him, but Zarya is also massively overpowered on this patch, so yes. It's a little bit of both. And Bit, yeah, very rough early game from him, and now Artemis can just do whatever he wants. There were so many AD carry bans, but this Zarya goes through. I'm kind of baffled by that one, and also by this draft in general by Team Wales, but we addressed it earlier. They not really have anything to write home about. The Lucian army not really finding any impact whatsoever in this game, at least not positively. And yeah, Cerberus just now, they got the inhibitor, they can just easily retreat and pick up the third Drake, which would be their sole point on the way out, and yeah, This is though what kind of annoys me a little bit. They kind of gave away this first Cloud Drake for free when they had already winning lanes, and
So
this just now means that they don't have the soul already.
here's my take on it. They should take this Drake, and then take no more, and let the next two slide. Let the next one slide at least, because
If there are that many, yes.
there's if you let the one slide to Team Wales, you give that over, because if you take the next one and then lose the Elder Dragon, you've given Team Wales the way back into it.
A little bit like what could have happened to Sagan Buffalo last game against Flash, yes. But
yes.
I gotta say though, if they get the Chem Soul, they would be like 10,000 goal ahead, and there's no way in hell they lose any close to fair team fight at all. Like, I think they can do whatever they want, but I see the point, but don't let Elder even spawn.
Don't let the flip exist.
You can actually just give away a Drake or two and just trade it for a Baron, because the Baron is so much more worth for you, and with one Baron pushing it probably end the game right there, as you already have super minion pressure. So kind of right, the soul is very seducing, but you really don't need the soul at all.
Yeah, especially because I think this is the weakest soul in the game, the Chemtech soul. Because especially in a position like this where it only triggers when you're below 50% health, realistically, you should not be getting below 50% health. So half the time you just don't have a soul. So I think you just ignore it. You ignore it, you get your barons, you push in the siege. Because sieging up right now is a little bit difficult. You don't have the best range in the world, except on Yado. So just chill out, get the barons, and walk it home is the plan from Cerberus and Team Wales. They are just hunting around. They're just poking their heads and looking for someone to overstep, and Artemis is just a beast. She's just done so much damage this game, and he's already picked up that Essence Reaver. He doesn't run out of mana anymore, and he is spell swinging like
also
crazy.
Sheen procs, yeah, I mean, you just can do auto spell auto all the time, and what he's even building with now, I think it looks like Bloodthirster for me, because he can't just build Infinity Edge on top of Navori. That doesn't work. Either way of that, onto the Chem Soul discussion, whether it's the worst soul or not, I'm not quite fond of that one. Either way, I think every soul is kind of game-winningly strong. They all don't have that 85% plus win rate for no reason. I think they are all very, very strong.
Yeah.
And either way of that, I think Cerberus can do whatever they want, regardless, right? I mean, of course, I think Chem Soul maybe not the best, as if you get one shot, you just get one shot. There's also the argument against any Ocean Soul or with Cloud Soul that it's no direct combat stats. You don't really have any guaranteed benefit as you would have from a Mountain, Infernal, or Hextech Soul. Regardless of that, I think every soul is very, very strong, and something like Cassandra or this Viego cannot be one shot like ever. So you would have some value. To me, that seems like guaranteed. Either way of that, Baron will be spawned 40 seconds. I think regarding the super minion pressure from the bot side, this will just probably be quick Baron pickup from Cerberus, force one teamfight around mid lane siege, and then win the game right there.
Yeah, we are actually seeing the Kraken Slayer coming through from Drakthar. Most likely, technically, it could still be a Gale Force, but that's not terribly.
I'm surprised he's not on 2 items yet. Jungler's life.
He hasn't got any kills. If you take a look, you will see that Artemis has taken all of them. 8, 0,
I think they can live with that.
I don't think he's complaining too much, but this will slow him down on his items a little bit. And I'm still waiting.
And he is. Gotta say, Viego is surprisingly squishy for Viego.
Here comes Yado. He's just going to drop it onto B, and B is just instantly deleted. Another kill to Artemis. The ultimate comes out from Vip, but it's just soaked by Tibbers. Run OP is very low, so is Drakthar, but Drakthar gets away with a Heartbreaker. It's just the one kill, but it's a lot blown from Vit. Can Team Wales re-engage? Pun is going to go back in, and Artemis is just free hitting onto kill Queen. Queen is dead. Long live the king, and the king is Artemis. They are going to break down the Baron, and that should be lights out for Team Wales. What can they do? They don't have culling. They have to they give it up.
Yeah, they have to give it up. I mean, the best bet is probably like an empowered shock blast from Glory, chunking anyone who has been already low before being dropped on by the resistances debuff and then just dying. But Cerberus isn't dirty like that. They just get the Baron, start off this fight with this DP flank. And I think despite the fact that Cerberus is so far ahead and this is such a good flank in general, I think Team Wade's kind of got away almost scot-free with already losing B for now. But here we see again how in this corridor we approach by the side of Team Wales. They almost kill 1 OP, but not quite as here. I'm not quite sure why Team Wales really wants to re-engage this. I think Glory was very, very confident, and then, yeah, him and Killer Queen together thought they could find an angle, but Artemis was ready to the play, can just dish out his feathers. Everything that looks remotely tanky doesn't look that tanky to him. So it will be Killer Queen falling down, Baron as a result, and now the Chemsol. Cerberus looking surprisingly eager to fight this one, so they do not quite agree with your assessment.
I don't think Cerberus necessarily wants the dragon. They just kind of want the fight. They might pick up the dragon afterwards anyway, but
if it's free, why not take it? Yeah.
Yeah. What? Hello, Nagia. Why are you still here? He should be able to get away. Okay, the quickness has been popped by Ronnie P, so maybe not. Maybe Nagia will fall down. There he goes.
Yeah, just
eventually.
Maybe give it to Artemis. Why not? I mean, he only has 8 kills or something right now.
Yeah,
oh, actually, is that his first kill of the game? It might be, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was 0, 1, and 3 beforehand.
Yeah, it's been Artemis and Yado, the only recipients this far, and now they're just trying to do something, but they can't do anything. Punches eats the whole culling. It doesn't do any damage. Killer Queen is back, and they are going to do as much as they can to pun. That's half a health bar, but Glory is just going to get chunked out as well. 1 tower remains. Artemis is just putting feathers into it, and it will fall too. Nexus exposed. That has to fall down. Team Wales just can't do anything.
They aren't even trying that much. I mean, look at their
They're just waiting for game 2.
Not even a Hail Mary. They are mentally done in this game. At least, hopefully not the series, but in this game, there was our fountain dive to what insult to injury, and this one was one hell of a performance. From draft to finish, I gotta say, Cerberus, despite giving away that one Drake and having some rough moments after that, in general, 90% of the time, a very clean game from them.
That was just a really, really bad level 1 taking over the game. I think that's a game that's easy to write off mentally. It's just like, okay, we don't feed the Xayah a kill at level 1. I also, as the Wales fan, would like to say, pick an easier bot lane for that doesn't have to win lane, because Lucian Nami from behind is just painful to watch. It's just dog shit. I'm just gonna say it's garbage, especially unless you're a Jackie Love caliber player or like Ruler Gumayushi. You just don't bother. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it doesn't really win lane anymore. In some matchups, it scales quite finely, but I mean, you are on pit versus Artemis. You know this before the series starts as well. I mean, and even with nameplates off, this wasn't really a good draft on them. I think the silver lining actually for Celtics Wait is this game was a complete disaster. It was never close for at least a second, and at least it wasn't really like mentally draining to really have this like fake hope, so to say. There was no false hope really gaining by the side of Cerberus. It was just a storm you can write it off as this never happened. We just play the next game out as the best of our ability can provide us, and yeah, hopefully let them bounce back for game 2 and yeah, make this a competitive series.
Yeah, complete rework from Team Wales. Just
load all up.
Doesn't
We
exist.
start.
It's garbage. It's bad. Come back to it fresh. We'll come back to it after a break. So hopefully Wales get their shit sorted, because that wasn't it.
with this. Come and run again. You want a dose of this? Right now it's KDA. I'm a goddess with a blaze. 소리처럼 내 이름 잊지 못하게. Loud, 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 loud. I could take you to the top. 절대 멈추지 못해. 내가 끝내주는 bag, yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I start to talk that, oh, you know how to react. I'm a picture perfect face with the wild in my veins. You can hear it in my growl, 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 growl. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. 다 할 수 없는 배vo. 나와 되길 원한 늘 확신해. We got it all in our hands now. So can you handle what we're all about? We're so tough. Let's get it, show you up. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. You ready for this?
Let's go.
See, 언제든지 내 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지. 펴펴 네가 뭘 알아. 견딜 수 없어 원해도 원하는 게 얼굴에 보여. I'm trouble and you running it. I'm so cold. When I move that way, you gon' be so blown. I'm the realest in the game. Said I'm on fire with the blade. You're about to hear my name ringing in your head like whoa. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. We so tough. Let's get it, show you up. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. 난 멈추지 않아. Oh, we go hard. Oh, we pop stars. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. We go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down.
Welcome back. It was a absolute stomp in game one. Just disaster from the word go from Team Wales. But can they bounce back and make this series against Cerberus a compelling one? I'm Abanogi, this is Currency, and game two, we said Wales needs to blow everything up. Does that include putting in Haki?
Which position?
80 carry.
Eddie Carey. I mean, maybe this is a good approach to just really make some change for the sake of making changes, but is he really better than Vid? I mean, Vid so far, I mean, this game one, he definitely did not look good. I think in general, his split hasn't been that terrible. I mean, that was his one series against Slows where he wasn't really looking that good. Aside from that, I think he overall has a surprisingly good split for his standards at least. Gotta say though, I mean, this game one just certainly wasn't it. And for the side of Team Wales, I mean, you can just start from draft at least and just blow everything up, as we said before. Maybe they pick blue side this time and could potentially at least threaten to pick away the Zaya. I don't want to see that, by the way, don't get me wrong, but maybe ban the Zaya out and just shift everything that the AD carry role really brings to the table, as this was too easy for Artemis. Just getting the strongest AD carry in the patch, getting her boyfriend as well on the rungs for the side of the 2v2, and winning it from level 1 onwards. Here we see again how they will play it in game 2. They get blue side at least. Different champions are banned now, but what do they do with Zarya? Do they actually pick it away?
Yeah,
They do.
Their first pick. Rakan is only so good on his lonesome. So maybe we don't see that. The Mundo I expect to just be the hover. But yeah, that has been taken away. The Annie has also been banned from Yado, so that will also have to change coming into game 2, but it can't just be about Thelios Thrash. It could just the standard. It's a good pick. Shogun absolutely popped off on it, and I see this going fine.
Would have been funnier for entertainment reasons if they just picked Lucian Nami into Zaya from Bit and just show him how it's done, how he actually should play it. But either way, I think Artemis is also not a Lucian Nami fan. He hasn't played it at all, I think, this split. And let's just tell us that Artemis tends to agree with the VCS English assessment of this bottom lane in general. As here we see an all-time classic, Killer Queen Lee Sin. I mean, even in losses, even in games where the macro wasn't really working, the micro still at least was working for the side of his Lee Sin performances. So that's at least a good callback to the past. And I mean, Aphelios without his Gale Force is at least in theory an immobile champion that you could punish here. And yeah, you aren't picking Talon here. I mean, Talon for Killer Queen would make sense, but solo lane Lee Sin is not a champion anymore. So it will be Cassandra picked away.
Okay, so yes, we're going to see a little bit of prowess from Killer Queen on Lee Sin. Hopefully a lot more activity in that early game, but Cassandra from Nagia, he has been by far our best Cassandra player. And it looks like just the Thresh from Ron OP. He is one of our premier Thresh players. And so far, it's looking like teams going for confidence. Maybe that Zaya standing out a little bit as away from that, but teams looking like they're happy with what they've got.
Seems to be the case, and with the Thresh being locked in, you can just now start to target ban B a little bit more, so it will be uncomfortable to play against this Aphelios Thresh bottom lane. I think for Karn is one obvious ban that they go wide away with that one to deny it from B and make it a little bit harder for the side of Vid. And now on the side of the Wales, what you want to now ban away is Cassandra counters, Jax being taken away as of now. I want to clean up, it was Cassandra against Jax picked up by the side of Pan last game, but now why do we even ban off Cassandra counters? I mean, Pan won't just play a hard carry into it, right? I mean, that's kind of something that is more on the unusual side, or at least a stylistic shift for servers.
Yeah, the Jax is sort of Pun's big carry, maybe the Olaf as well. But I expect it to be a tank matchup. I guess just not wanting that to deal with that Jax. And there we go, taking away Yado's ability to impact the map a little bit with that Talia. Have to see where they want to go. Maybe this would be a good time to lock in their Pun champion.
Or yes, or maybe go back to Victor for Yard and then just pick whatever in the last rotation to really have everything laid out on the table. As Victor would be very hard to counter here. His Annie has been banned away as well, so Yard's champion pool has been kind of put to the test here, and it might just be the Wise. It is just Wise. I mean, it's just like Victor, but a little less space control, but more global ability. I personally prefer the Victor, especially considering Yado's champion mastery on this champion. But Wise is also fine. I don't dislike that at all. And now we see how Wales bounce on their composition. I would not expect a Belvev here though.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think the Belvev is going to come through. Jace is still open. That has been something Glory has gone to. Victor, that also works. These two are our main control mage players, so both of them playing Victor sounds just fine to me. And if that Blitzcrank gets locked in, that is a bit of a Thresh. That is a known Thresh counter and can absolutely wreak havoc.
It's also a B special, right?
What?
What? Who is supporting on this composition? This must be a mispick, no?
Support? No. Okay. I've seen things on Reddit. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Molecule was talking about this, a PCS coach. I think Cario is playing it in solo queue. Belvev support.
But Carrier is playing it, right?
No, it's Chovy playing it in support.
Yeah, but last time I checked, B is not Chovy, so I'm not sure if we can really handle it. Either way of that, Vivieiro gets picked up to one the competition, which means, for the side of Cerberus, which is something that I didn't say, but had in the back of my mind, they still play Sejuani top lane, maybe potentially using Knight, and we pressure the Cassandra. I'm not sure it's really that good though, because I mean, Sejuani top lane is a pick that has to play kind of like a lane bully style and has to really work around with his jungler to really get the ball rolling. And I'm not quite sure if Sejuani top lane can really fight a Cassandra if the main engage is already out. I think Cassandra just beats the shit out of her.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm too busy looking up Belveth support.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, okay, so
One
I feel
coin to the
like,
jar.
yeah, so Sejuani top lane, yeah, you absolutely can do that as a kill lane. That's been its power in the past, and especially if Viego gets up there, that permafrost stacking can absolutely wreak havoc. I do agree, but I'm sorry, I'm just so Belveth support.
Yeah, draft has
WMAX.
been remade.
Is it? No.
I
don't
no,
know.
I think it's not
Don't
remade.
say that. It could happen in VCS.
I mean, I think about maybe it'd be better for Team Rails if it's getting remade. Either way, B is like one of those supports that has like special things cooking for himself. So maybe we should just let B cook and see how it really works. I would have not disliked the Blitzcrank, however, because B has been a Blitzcrank enjoyer in the past, and it's also, as you said, a good matchup into the Thresh.
Yeah, it would make a lot more sense, but no, here it is, Belveth support. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Press the attack, W max, the Q start to get you a really strong level 1 trade when it's fully stacked. Oh, this could be exciting. This could be so exciting. If they find the early kill pressure. You see the observers, they're all in on it. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, they will either stomp or look like absolute clowns, is what I would expect, because either you just get the ball rolling, or you just kind of don't. I think it's especially risky as you are playing with Vet, who has like not been known to be like the better AD carrier of those two, if I'm being generous. And B now, I mean, maybe it's a good pick in that sense that you kind of need to walk into them with fresher failures. You just kind of want to hook and flay them, and then just walk surprisingly close range to the Zarya. And then Belveth is also in the area and can just maybe win the DPS check in those 2v2 situations. So yeah, let's just wait and see what B is cooking, and if the dish is really tasting that well.
Okay, so we're going to we're expecting to see Evan Shroud being built. Of course, WMAX, as said, going for that big slam down knock-up. Observers, stop watching Victor. Nobody cares about Victor Rise. It's boring. Everyone's seen it a million times. Let's watch Belveth. Gonna be a bit of a struggle early on, I imagine. Bit of range advantage.
Also, the 8-minute mark will be very interesting to see, as Belveth snowballs very, very strongly off of the Rift Herald takedowns. So if they manage to win a Rift Herald fight, it could just work out greatly for them. But if not, I mean, Belveth support, I mean, also Belveth's scaling is surprisingly weak in this situation, is what I expect, because Belveth's scaling with a passive is theoretically infinite, but it should be takedowns on minions and champions, and support Belveth doesn't do a whole lot of that, so I'm kind of doubtful that this will work out if the Belveth lane is not really snowballing.
Yeah, you're looking for that snowball, you're looking for, I guess, those last hits on the cannon minions with that Relic Shield passive will help a little bit. Those Steel Shoulder Guards will help you rank it up as smidgen. But yes, you absolutely nailed it. That Rift Herald fight. If B can get that, the push that can come out of a update of fully upgraded Belveth, that's absolutely disgusting. Oh, I'm just waiting for it to pop off. We've seen one small attempt at the all-in, just a small knock up on Toronto P, who has actually gone for the aftershock. That's a rune we kind of overlooked. You don't often see that. You tend to see the glacial augment. And
Yaro got off screen.
We were too busy looking at Belveth that we missed Glory and Kill Queen just diving Yaro.
I mean, that's kind of just your fault. You said to pan away as for the observer from the Victor Wise matchup as it's bowing, and just now that's the result of that, right? Yaro just gets off screen. Gotta say though, I can't blame there. I also want to look at this Belveth a little bit more, and as it really plays out here right now. Adam is one of kind of regained lane control, but here we see how it played out. Dive onto Rado, he was very low mana, and he just quickly dies. Drakthar he thought he was ready, but he kind of wasn't. This just went on too quickly. Yaro couldn't flash anything. I think Yaro expected to not get one bursted there in like half a second, and expected to be like at least ready to flash towards Drakthar or something, but ultimately no. Just first blood for Team Rails. A good start of the visitation for the Victor, especially with him getting the kill and also getting 25 stacks for the Glorious Evolution passive. So at least one small victory for Team Rails, the first one in the whole series, I gotta say.
Yeah, you definitely have to respect the quick double flash from the side of Team Wales, just not giving Yado any time to respond. And B is here. There's Drakthar nearby. They will know that from the mist. I'm quite sure where he is, but Hook lands onto Belveth, misses the Q from Does Artemis. They're just trying to bait. I think they're just trying to bait.
Yes.
They're not taking it.
I think even if Killer Queen is another one, maybe even hooking into the Belveth is not really the best option, as she would maybe just destroy the Thresh in these small melee skirmishes. Either way of that, we just now have the game being a little bit slowed down, and Artemis not really destroying bot lane as much as he did in game 1. And maybe that's just all the team Wales really wanted, right? Bot lane being stable, at least being a bit caught off guard by the surprise support pickup of the Belveth. And now mid jungle maybe being the one snowballing, also top lane working out well for them, right? TP ignites Sejuani on Pan, not finding any kill push on the Cassandra, and with that, I had my doubts about the pickup, and it's falling down in CS as well against the Cassandra. Not quite what Pan probably wanted in this matchup.
Yeah, just not quite working out in the top side, but as you said, just nice lane control, good ability to try and snowball this mid jungle. A Victor that is fed can absolutely pump out ton of damage, and Artemis and Yado not the longest range, so might have to just walk into it. RNP spotted by B, not gonna get caught out. And these games have been so slow. We're just waiting for them to really take their move. So what do you want to see from these teams? Dragon being threatened, but how do you expect this to play out?
Should be Cerberus Dragon in my opinion, because this Inferno Mercedes can just shove down the wave way quicker than Desire could return the favor. And here we see Team Wales, yeah, the bot priority not being there, but maybe the mid jungle can do a little bit of work, at least say something against that. As now, of course, Yado can also push on his wave, and with Yado rejoining, this should be Cerberus Drake in my opinion. But the bot lane are also caught up, so at the end of the day, maybe no team really getting it. And as we move closer to this 8-minute mark, I'm just very surprised to see, or very excited to see, what this Belveth pick can maybe do around this Rift Herald, as we said before. If Wales win a team fight around that area, it should be Belveth really popping off. Support Belveth, especially taking all that additional value from the Rift Herald takedown, is insane, considering the power budget really being there. And if not, I think Belveth might just fall down quite hard as a pick, because a part of the power budget is that she scales infinitely on takedowns and especially on those neutral objectives. And if she gets neither of them, her scaling per level in general is reduced due to that fact, because otherwise she would just be an overpowered champion, and she in general is not. So I would hope that B finds a great team fight, otherwise this pick might just be useless.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally that 8-minute Herald fight is bounced around the fact by Belveth not being the strongest, but okay, Yado's lurking. They don't spot him, and now they're going
Flash
all
engage.
in. They catch out Drakthar, everything lands, and now can they follow it up onto Glory? They still have so much, but the Sonic Wave will miss from Drakthar. Can Glory get something back? He's done a lot of damage, but no, just a bad move from the mid jungle, just moving too quickly and not checking for Yado. That's just free.
This should just be the Drake, and 2 kills onto Artemis yet again. Cerberus again with a good start, and just T-Wade's not respecting the potential double flash engage from the mid jungle, right? It's similar to how Yado died.
That was insane from B. He used the W to interrupt the blast cone, and instant committal. That's huge, and it's a shutdown over to the side Team Wales. It goes onto the Belveth, which could be good in this situation.
That's the thing.
I don't know.
Is it actually good or bad? We don't quite know. I mean, on the Belveth, in general, it sounds quite nice, right? With the support Belveth. Either way, here we see the mid lane chase on again. I like the fake realm up just to zone Glory away from this second realm up area, then just not using it and just finding the kill anyway. But gotta say, I mean, credit where credit is due. B with a nice comeback play, getting the shutdown for himself. And I actually think that's good for the side of Team Wales. I mean, Belveth, a pick that I called that needed to snowball, now at least got one big shutdown on her own. And with Artemis being fed, there's at least like one opposition that can really find the gears for the side of Team Wales. As in general, they're quite ahead of gold. I wonder why that's the case. I think that might just be due to top lane also winning, and the shutdown just now being surprisingly large.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of a few of those things, bit of CS differences coming out. Yep, pretty much that top lane CS difference and that shutdown as well. Maybe a tower plate here and there that we have missed. Currently, there's only one down. There's one down in the mid lane. Can't see the mini map to determine the top lane tower, but so far so good. 1,000 gold lead for Team Wales. A somewhat fed Belveth, who's rushed boots, so not the best outcome. As B is going to put a bit of hell onto Artemis.
I mean, or Artemis putting a hell onto B, I think.
Yeah, the continued trade went definitely in the way of the Aphelios, but
It's chakrams everyone, right? Not quite a good combination for melee champions to engage their failures. If they can't kill him straight up, they usually just get leeched off, and this is what happened just now. As Artemis is almost back to full, but Killer Queen is around, so Artemis needs to be careful here.
Okay,
Yeah, dodges his knock up at least. Yeah, sidestep into taking the lantern, as he should have done it. And yeah, Artemis showing mechanical prowess yet again. Killer Queen's gank not really finding anything, or should even call it a gank. It's just a setup for potential lane gank as of now. He should not be spotted so far, and maybe cyber spot that falls into the trap.
Yeah, Artemis might want to. Okay, now just gonna instantly reveal the Rift Herald and just try to crash that. Get a couple of plates onto Vit. See him step up. That should be the 2. Easy done. And you like to see it. And now Belveth can start to link up with Killer Queen and get onto this roam. IP. Okay, now Drakthar lurking. Purple gun enabled. Gravitum. They see Ron OP Hex Flash over the wall. It is gonna be hard for Vit to get out of this one. Good
He sees it coming, but can you do something against it?
No, he can't.
He can't. Yeah. Artemis getting the kill.
The wrong way. Pun has joined in because Nagia teleported down. And from here, I think it's just going to fizzle out.
That's huge for Cerberus actually, getting the kill and the TP not really resulting into anything. I think that's very, very huge, especially with Artemis taking the kill. And for the side of Vit, I don't want to even criticize his mechanical prowess. I think there was just no way out in general, no matter in which direction he really ults. So yeah, he sees a play coming, doesn't mean he can prevent it. So at the top, at the bot lane, we now have the top lane matchup, and kind of just now switches. Here we see again, Hex Flash, you said it. He is spotted, but what can he really do? It's 3 members, Dark Passage correctly used by 1 OP. And yeah, he has to outplay with Cleanse and Featherstorm, the hook, the flay, the box, the everything, and also the damage somehow, and he can't just do all of that with those abilities.
I'm a bit surprised he managed to miss everything with the Blade Caller, but you know that's not really going to matter that much in the end. As just seeing the collapses, just trying to bully Vit, try to punish this weak link of Team Wales. I want to be like in the bush, and I'm desperately, and I just want B and Killer Queen to try and link up. That first Rift Herald was taken by Wales, but B was nowhere near it, so we didn't get to see the evolution come on out from the final form.
That makes it a bit underwhelming, right? They got the Herald, but B didn't get anything out of it, so it's kind of just like better as any other champion. Here we see Vit, when you call him the weak link just now, at least able to wave clear this minion wave without any trouble whatsoever. In general, I think the surprise factor from the Belveth support pick kind of fallen off by now. I mean, now we are kind of in a somewhat of a mid-game state where it's like 30 minutes into the game. A little bit of a gold lead by the side of Team Wales, but the Drake for Cerberus, Artemis still fed again, as he is usually on picks like these. And yeah, is it enough for Team Wales? We gotta remain to be seen. Gotta say that in this game in particular, Lee Sin not really falling off as a pick in general. He always has his backline threat to really kick Yardo into his own team and then just making the quick kill. As just now a quick flash from B is forced right on the Drake area, and this might just net Cerberus the second Drake of the game.
Yeah, Drake forced, but it's half health onto Artemis. This could mean that the Aphelios does not quite want to persist. Killer Queen?
Oh!
Okay. Misses.
Nice heartbreaker.
The hook misses, but yeah, predicted the flash kick, and it's still going to result in a dragon for Team Wales. In exchange for a top tower, it looks like, as Yardo is just up there perma farming, and that's not bad for Team Cerberus. You split the first drakes. You can, if you're able to, you get a lot of tower damage down. You're not going to get first brick, at least not on this mid lane, but that's still worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely looks okay. Missed my own prediction in them getting the second Drake, but of course with the play being forced onto Raktar and him barely surviving with Heartbreaker ring out of the potential flash kick, Killer Queen using his flash for that one, nets Team Wales the Drake, but yeah, first break and the whole amount of gold and experience for Yano and Artemis respectively, with Artemis also chunking down this mid lane T1 turret. Seems okay for Cerberus, if not even more than that. They also don't want to force a burger flip on any of those team fights where it could just go wrong against the Belveth especially. They are probably fine with that one. Drake's score equalized now, gold even slightly Cerberus favored, and considering their way up into this mid to late game, it looks decent for them again.
Yeah, when you consider that they were behind about 2,000 gold, they essentially made that back off that play, and you're pretty happy with that, all things considered. A few more stats. Okay, second Rift Herald is spawned. Killer Queen has started it. Can it be
And B is close this time.
This could be huge. Well, they need to keep a track on Drakthar, but he's backing
They give it up.
B. No!
Did they just reset the Herald? B. He picks by their support to just not interact with Herald whatsoever.
I'm so mad.
Apparently.
Okay, hook onto Nagia rather. They try and commit. Okay, he's going to get the kill, but he's kicked away from the soul. That is a 1-for-1 trade. Can they get anything else out of it? B can't even get involved to pick up an evolution off the kill. B, get involved. Use your kit.
And I'm also angry about Cerberus because 1-for-1 trading against Victor not the smartest idea. He gets his free 25 stacks for that one, and 1-for-1 is not something to really write home about. You kill Nagia, but you also lose your jungler. Luckily for you, Herald was done anyway, and Drake also not on the table. Here we see again how it played out. Hook lands onto the Cassante. He's very hard to kill, of course. And they're just fighting to this corridor where they can't really return the fire, but Wales absolutely can. And it's just trade 1-for-1 against Victor. Not something that I'm fond about. TP to the Herald itself to get this mid lane outer turret, which seems okay for Wales, I gotta say. And Wales with a good move here.
Actually, that gives you the opportunity to try and push, and you still have to get through these outer towers on the side lanes, though. And if they just go for the complete reset here, it gives the opportunity for clapbacks. But Glory is in place. It is fine. It is a good move from Wales, and now everything is even. It's one kill ahead for Cerberus, but otherwise all things equal. Partner's going to interact with Nagia on the bot side. That is a top lane Cerberus. Sejuani, don't get excited for a gank or anything.
They could have done it in the early game, right? Palmer for second with the melee champion with Viego approaching, but they ultimately do not want to strong to the Sejuani top lane, which I very much understand. Gotta say, the Pun, after having a rough early laning phase, right now looks decent again against Nagia. Pulling up at CES, he got this one kill from this skirmish we had earlier on.
Yeah.
What is he building, by the way? He's
okay, so
the other is yes, I think. I think it's Abyssal Mask and then some, I think, Jackshow.
He's got
and also Sunfire Cape
for Jackshow or Radiant Virtue with Viegas and Kindle Gem. There's the Balmy Cinder that goes into Sunfire Cape, and yes, I assume that would be an Abyssal Mask.
Yeah. Increases damage very much.
Oh, okay, Killer Queen kicking him away from the lantern, but they put the ward down, but it doesn't matter. It still goes through Kassan. B is here. Can't get anything down, and everything goes on to B. They are going to trade back onto Artemis, though. Nagia is popping off. Nagia as Viego as well. They're going to trade that one. Now Drakthar is Cassante. He's going to get away okay because of those extra resistances, and it's a 2-for-2 overall. Top lane and 80 carry for top lane and support. That is technically Team Wales' favor, but now what's going to happen in time for this dragon? Who can get the resets in? Can they get the resets in? Looks like
that's
Team
a really
Wales
good
is
question.
going for it.
Either way, Team Wales with a slightly favored fight here. I mean, Artemis kind of counts more if you really consider it that, but he also gets his flash down as he was forced to flash away from the Dragon's Rage. Still gets out with this clutch Dark Passage, also 1 OP here with a good hook to deny any further engagements from the side of B. Boxed also to create this zone, and Drakthar now just can put the dagger in, literally Heartbreakers onto B, get the first reset, is Belveth now, then can force together with his teammate 1OP to get the kill onto Cassandra. Then he's suddenly Cassandra and is tanky enough to withstand the fight. And despite Artemis getting killed, with Ragnar being so strong in the DPS department, it's still a fightable fight for them. And this nets them the second Drake of the game for their side. Second Drake for them, third Drake of the game overall. And now gold's still even. So whatsoever, they always get these small scaling wins here. And they are not caught off guard by the Belvev surprise. But by this surprise, they might just be caught out.
Yeah, that's a very easy interrupt coming through from the side of Nagia, but with the phase rush and the flash, it's enough for Yado to run away. Very good rune choices coming through, and not all that much coming out from the side of Team Wales. They chose to go for that reset. They didn't feel confident and gave up that dragon. It's not the end of the world. It's still only the second, but you feel Cerberus having much more control, much more decisiveness, and awareness of what they want to achieve in this game.
And what I now want to see is whether the Victor is finally gloriously evolved. He should be like around the mark where he has all the 300 stacks, almost on 200 CS, 3 takedowns, 275. As long as he got, not doing math on stream, but it should be like 7 cannon minions he got over the game. But I think he should at least have 7 cannons, probably more than that. So he must have all the upgrades. So he's very much online right now. But so is Cerberus, right? I mean, Word of Age is half stacked for the side of Yado. He's on 2 completed items, while Glory kind of isn't right now. It seems very decent for him. And overall, this game, however, Vid is not behind against Artemis, which is something we rarely see.
Yeah, he's behind a little bit. A few more kills have gone Artemis's way, but he is still on pace to catch that, get that second item within good time. This tower will just survive, and now there's still a lot of hovering around. And okay,
Killer Queen is ended. Oh, is it?
He's fine.
It's not. Yeah.
Okay, I think Killer Queen going a little bit too hard to try and get Artemis there. They could have probably just kicked Ron-OP back for a free kill, but just wanted Artemis, wanted the AD carry. And side lanes are going in the way for Cerberus right now. They still have both of these outer towers in the side lane. And this mid lane tower is so low, it should just be traded very shortly. And it's just Cerberus coming out on top.
TP flag.
Nagia coming in strong, and Belvev gets a huge knockup. They instantly delete Artemis. They delete everyone. Ragnar gets the Heartbreaker away, but the damage is insane. Belvev is now going to transform, and now into the Baron they go. Yado just says, "Okay, I'm gonna get a Baron. I'm gonna get a tower back in response." And Jesus, Glory did a lot of damage.
One hell of an engaged TP flank coming up. You'll probably see it again in the replay. No, that as well. And just the TP flank in general make it impossible for Cerberus to really fight anything against this. They try to escape towards this top side corridor, and now the flank really coming in. B with a huge C chain, of course, to really make it worthwhile for both Vid and Glory to fight into this Chaos Storm in this corridor, as well as the Zaya Feathers, make it impossible for Cerberus to do anything. And this explodes 3 members of them, the Baron as well for Team Wales, and now they, at least for a few minutes, with some control of this game, to really get the siege going. The mid lane T1 turret, they're living away by a sliver of HP, and this won't fall in the next minutes as well. This is so huge for the map control of Team Wales.
They have a Belvev. They have an extended Belvev. And they are going to cause so much damage to these waves. You can see him linking up with Nagia. This wave is about 2 minion waves already, and it's only going to get worse. Okay, Yado will
stronger.
hurt that a little bit.
The Remoas are similar to Yorick ghouls in that regard. They are like glass cannons. They are squishier than normal minions, but they hit like a truck on these turrets. So you really need to watch out for this one. And especially like for a support to have like this transformation going on. This just elevates the support pick even more than it would any other pick, right? Because otherwise it would be as carry anyway. But this just now makes Team Wales a team of 5 carries basically. So Cerberus really having some rough minutes right now. They are probably happy if they can just hold on to their base. And if they hold on to this inner turret, I think they are very happy with the outcome, because despite losing this huge team fight, they didn't lose all too much.
Yeah, I feel like they need to. They kind of overloaded one lane too much. I feel like the Belvev needs to sort of go alone to a different lane on the grounds that Cerberus has really good wave clear between Artemis and Yado. So make them split up. Don't let them focus entirely on the one lane. That's my opinion, but I fully understand why under normal circumstances you're just like, okay, we'll keep the Belveth nearby. But this is just the pressure gets them a dragon. That's what you like to see. It's not a big gold lead, but it's
dragon, some gold, some outer turrets like in the bot lane. That's basically all they really got from this Baron. But it's more than nothing, right? I mean, the game wasn't really looking too shabby either way, but it also wasn't looking any good, as Cerberus definitely was still stable despite being a tad surprised by this Belveth's pick. Just now they are 3k gold down in the 25-minute mark, which seems okay-ish, I gotta say. Them not cracking down this mid and tier 1 turret is very much hurting them in having any sort of map control here. We just now saw this one TP flag earlier, which kind of brought us to this position in the first place, where teammates really had this one moment where they can really propel ahead. And right now, kind of Cerberus probably waiting for this Infinity Edge power spike for Artemis. He's on 2 items, and then the BF plus a quick cloak looks good for him. And when he has 3 items, he might just be able to stand up next to Vid and be equal or better in those team fights. And so far, game kind of slowing down. Both teams scaling next to each other, and I really want to see what this Belveth pick brings us further into this game.
Yeah, we saw it put out a fair amount of damage in that last fight. 2,000 damage, getting a good amount of AoE damage down onto the clumped up members of Cerberus, and any more fights in corridors like that, Team Wales should just have pure advantage with the way their team is built. Killer Queen lurking on the side, always looking for something, but the Baron buff is gone, so these sieges are not very strong. They do not have the ability to crack open these towers, but we're just on standstill, waiting for the next objective.
Yeah, just waiting for that, just trading some waves, some camps, or whatever the hell happens to spawn on the map. As right now, the game kind of slowing down. But in the meanwhile, Yado now fully staking his Word of Ages, looking towards his Void Sub as a 3rd item. Might just need it to really get through this Cassandra, through this Sin, maybe even through this Belveth, because it is a almost full tank Belveth, only the Even Shroud really getting a bit of damage, amplifying when she sees an enemy champion for her team. Kind of a bit like what old Abyssal Mask used to be. And speaking of old Abyssal Mask, or Abyssal Mask in general, now Pun finishing its items, and Abyssal Mask is not one of them. It probably will be 3rd item, as Word of Ages is impossible. It is a mythic item, and he already has Radiant Virtue, and Sunfire can finish right now. So Abyssal Mask will be his 3rd item, and will also just be one of those items where the Sejuani pick can still gain some impact, as she would then be very, very tanky, but also quite damaging. Also amplifying the damage from Yado a little bit, who so far hasn't really done that much in this game. Is 0, 1, and 3, but still very, very farmed, and so do not underestimate this rise despite it having no kills so far.
Meanwhile, Belveth, fully expecting that to be the Anathema's chains, and I will be excited to see who that goes on to. There's a small part of me that wants it to fall onto Drakthar, because he's the one that if you don't kill him first, he can maybe reset and become a menace as time progresses. They're going to this tower. This tower deserves
this interaction
fall, man.
just tells you how Cerberus is desperate to kill this turret. Just Artemis without wave just drops the Fader's turret, one auto attack, takes the turret shot even forward, even the Dark Passage on the way out, just to get 1 chip damage in. He thought maybe he would get the kill towards this, but backdoor protection so strong on these turrets. Without a mini-wave, basically do not deal any damage to it whatsoever, as here might just be a pick.
Kill a queen, but they just get blasted back by B. Now he goes in and he kicks in Yado, who will die for his sins. And now Drakthar gets to start resetting, but they're in a corridor. They get Nagia survives just on Utsava, but Drakthar cannot take him down and change as well. So 2 for 2. Yado gets away, but health leads for Glory. Maybe not Artemis, but he gets stuck up in the gravity field. It's going to take a lot of damage, but the wave clear is still there. So, it goes on to flashes for Vit, and because Yado came back in, the Blade Caller doesn't hit anyone. These Blade Callers just keep missing.
Yado goes further.
Okay, Yado's gonna get chained up under the tower, but it's fine.
That might be Baron. That might be Baron, right? I mean, the fight not looking good either way. But of course, Drakthar is still dead, and Lee Sin just now spawned, so they need to have a backup plan to do whatever happens when Killer Queen joins close to the pit. Killer Queen, of course, approaching this Baron, but TP coming out by the side of Pun. Pun alone should be enough to zone Killer Queen away from the pit, and I think Killer Queen respects that as well, as he's just now going for the Wolves and not even contesting this Baron. But that fight before it, I mean, it looked very close to disaster for Team Wales with Draktar. I mean, here we see it again, how it really played out. It was the first the hook landing, and then very deep dive for Killer Queen to finish someone off, get the kill to Yado. Yado's just tanky, can get Dark Passage out as well, and the first sacrifice will be Killer Queen himself. Reset could come in for Draktar, he just now goes very far to Nagia, even gets the kill, but he can't get the reset in time, with being very clutch in that one, to at least make it a 2-for-2, otherwise it would have been a disaster for the side of Team Wales. You will see them almost getting the kill to Artemis, who can easily clear on this wave, and then Yado, for me, I didn't say it often this split, but this is a very game-winning play from Yado. TP into the backline on the Rise, can blow up these targets, Dolby style, EQ. Here Wellbop as a follow-up to get another kill, and this net them, this Baron, and a lot of game control at this part of the game. But I just now saw it was a Mountain Drake taken in the off-screen by Team Wales, so they are on Soul Point. And now Cerberus back with the gold lead, have the Baron for at least a few more minutes, and can regain control of the game.
It's Constellation Mountain Dragon for the side of Team Wales, and this Severum plus Bloodthirster combo from Artemis is just wreaking so much havoc. They are not getting any damage to stick to him. He walks away from these fights at full health plus the stupid bloody overheal shield so that they need to cut through. They need some way to deal with it, but they can't quite find the angles. Yado is tanky. He's now got a Zonya's. Artemis is essentially taking with that shield. Kick targets are running thin for the side of Killer Queen. Might just be have to kick in and delete Draktar, but that feels so bad when it leaves open the Aphelios.
And Yado is actually wait for this game. He's on 4 items while Glory is on 2.5 right now as he's waiting for his death cap power spike. However, he might just be caught out.
Oh, how did that hook land?
Is he really?
What the
He just destroyed mid!
Where did they go?
They killed them all! This is 4-for-0! Yado not getting caught out at all. You are not locked in with Yado, Yado's locked in with you, and he just destroys you with the Rise. His tanky is a damage carry as well. The silent MVP for me in this situation, as Cerberus might just go for the finishing push. They still have Baron, by the way. It's Aphelios and Rise and a Viego. Their push is far from bad. They get another kill onto its Nagia, and this should be it. Might just be the 2-0 for the side of Cerberus onto the back of Yado and his Rise.
Can we get rid of 200 years? Can we just let Aphelios die? That was insanely disgusting, and in the end, it's off the back of one team fight. This game was much closer, but Cerberus slam it home 2-0. Oh my god, I'm underwhelmed by that ending. It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened, but I mean,
It just happened.
yeah, of course, the Team Wales fan within you is very much underwhelmed. Either way of that.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I wanted a 3-game
Great
series.
Yado Artemis service. Same. Gotta say though, with what B did, the Belveth support was not the problem, but it wasn't the solution either.
It was, no, it wasn't the problem. It was I don't know. I don't know. It was so close. It was a nice game up until it just ended instantly, and I'm.
It was close until it wasn't. Killer Queen kind of overreaching with the Sin. I think he thought that if he kicks Yado, then Yado dies, but Yado kind of doesn't die because he's one of Aegis Sarah's Rise, and he's just a semi-tank that can still like destroy any AD carry that comes close to him. And gotta say, Yado, after having a quiet early game, in this mid to late game, especially with the TP flank and the last 2 skirmishes, he absolutely played up to his standards and played more than fine. I think Yado, for me, in this game, it's the best player from Cerberus.
Yeah, I mean, Cerberus absolutely played well across the board, but despite everything, it just didn't come together for Wales. And I mean, you can point to certain players, for sure.
The gold graph tells it all.
Yeah, that's just that one fight in the red buff jungle just not coming together, and the re-engage from Yado afterwards, absolutely game winning. And from there, just absolutely ridiculous damage. big stacked Infernal. 200 years will never leave us. 200 years of game design gives us Aphelios, and Wales are really wishing Riot had a little bit less game design in their game right now. So, oh man, I gotta commend Wales. They bounced back well after game one. They tried something fun and wacky with the Bel'Veth support, and I don't hate it. I think it could have been played and utilized better, and realistically, I would just rather they stick to more standard stuff, but they tried, they failed. Congratulations, Cerberus. You are now in sole possession of second place.
Exactly, and it matching, at least for now, the match wins from GAM, at least. I mean, of course, they have one series played more, and they lost one to GAM. That not really speaking in their favor, but in general of this series, I mean, you can't really blame the game balancing when Cerberus won draft, apparently, on both sides of the draft. So that's something to talk about for the side of Team Wales. Either way, I think Yado for me is my MVP of this game. He didn't even out-damage Glory, but he still, I think, overall did more. I mean, got more farm. At the end of the day, was a much bigger threat in these team fights, both offensively and defensively. And Adam is having a bit more of a quiet game. To some extent, due to that, Bel'Veth support pick, I gotta say, because they played very respectfully these first few levels. And I agree. I mean, Bel'Veth support, I didn't hate as a pick, and not because I like Cerberus very much. I think it definitely had his strong sides. You don't pick Bel'Veth to not play her around Rift Herald. You got both Rift Heralds and still didn't have any impact with it, considering the Bel'Veth pick. And that not synergizing with each other kind of shuns me away from the pick a little bit.
Yeah, and then great showing from Cerberus. Even without Ego, they are looking like a top. They could take it to GAM. They beat Wales fairly handily today. And yeah, this could be a bit of a resurgence of that winter splits. Cerberus rather, just in the form of Yado, Artemis, Pun. They all look great, and I don't know what else to say. I gotta get past the disappointment because I wanted 3 games. I didn't care if Cerberus won as long as it was close, and that game 1 was just not close. So that leaves us a bit of taste. And it's game 2, yeah, it's anyway. That's pretty much all from us tonight. It was a shorter day than I was expecting, because I predicted 3 games for both series. But I'm an idiot, apparently, who can't predict anything correctly. Maybe tomorrow I will do a little bit better, where we will have MBE versus SBTC and Team Secret versus GAM. That should be a lot of fun. Don't go, go somewhere. We're over now, but come back tomorrow is what I'm trying to say. I'm Abanogi. I don't normally do the hosting job. If you can't tell, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Have fun.